Howdy folks, welcome to this episode of Vern's Misadventures. In this one we're going to do a little preventive maintenance and unfortunately a little repair work on the Apple IIe. I'll tell you about it after the tune. Let's do this. Alright, so a few days ago, I decided it'd be a good idea to do a little preventive maintenance, cleaning, lubrication on the floppy disk drive, right? So in order to do that, I had to remove this board. This is a picture of my analog control board, right? So there's an analog card, it says, disk 2 analog card right here. So in order to get to the parts where you would lube and clean, you have to remove this board, get it out of your way. So obviously I pull this connector here, and remove the screw here, and a screw over here underneath what used to be a capacitor. So I got the job done, I cleaned it all up, used a little alcohol on the head, put some nice silicone grease on the sliding rails, make sure it lubed up real nice, put it back together, and turn on the computer, find that it did nothing. Then after a little while I was busy thinking, I wonder if I hooked something up wrong, before I could even get the word wrong out, it started smoking. So I started frantically grabbing at the power cords for the computer and the monitor and everything I had plugged in here, my little power strip by my desk. So I'm pulling cords, and before I can even get my hands on them, I hear a big pop! So after I get it unplugged and kind of try to sort in my mind what just happened, take it apart, and this is what I find inside it. So this used to be a capacitor right here. That's this old wadded stuff here, it's everywhere. That was what was inside the capacitor. This right here is the casing for the capacitor. So I guess when it popped and blew, right, it shot across here, broke this resistor on the way. Found a schematic online, found out that that's a half-watt 330 ohm resistor. So I went to Amazon and ordered 100 of those, because you can't order one. It was only 5 something, it's no big deal. So yeah, I broke this resistor on its way over there, then it slammed into this socket, knocked this IC, half the pins of this IC out of its socket right here. And so I'm left wondering, well, what the heck caused all this? So as I see it, there was a distinct possibility I might have hooked something up wrong. So look here, there's your red wire on the ribbon cable, and that's supposed to be at pin 1. It is on the controller card as well. So that's not in wrong, that's correct. I thought, well, did I hook up this connector here? Or maybe it seemed like, with it being together for so long that it would just have like a memory to it where it wants to lay. And it laid right in there like that, so I didn't fight it, I just plugged it back in, and it looked like the connectors matched with the traces on the board, as you can see. So just for my own information, I tried to turn it over. It didn't really want to go that way, and it would slide on upside down, but these connectors, the connectors on this deal here, the terminals didn't line up with any traces the way it does this way. So that led me to believe that this is actually correct. So we'll take that off the table as a culprit. So the only other connection that I made here was this. And this has a block right here, goes across here, which prevents you from hooking this up any way but which way it's in here. So this is okay. So I don't think I hooked anything up wrong. So while I was checking the disk controller card, which I don't have any pictures for right now, but while I was checking that to make sure I didn't screw up my connection on the ribbon cable or something, I noticed some chafing on the ribbon cable. So I suppose it's possible that something arced from messing around with it and pulling it in and out of there and whatever else. Maybe something arced on the case. So first thing I did was I went ahead and pulled the rest of this IC out of the socket, and I straightened the pins and put it back in. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but it's back in where it belongs. So what we're going to do is we're going to have to replace this resistor, and I got a full recap kit from Console 5. And while I was on their site, I went ahead and ordered a full recap kit for the power supply, because if it's nothing I did that caused this, and it was just from being jostled around, removed and reinstalled, whatever else, if nothing I did caused this, then that means I've got ticking time bombs and all these electrolytic capacitors. Now, we replaced the REFA first thing in the power supply, but left all the old capacitors in place. So, yeah, without further ado, let's jump in here and we'll get started on this project. Let's see here. We'll remove the 80 column card. That's the only one we really need to remove that. All right, let's flip them. Yeah, so the power supply is over here. So when I first got it, as you may remember, I went ahead and did the REFA capacitor, so I didn't want it to go kaboom on us. But I didn't have a full recap kit, so I couldn't do the whole power supply. And now that the floppy has blown up, I am very leery of these old caps. Okay, so we got that ready. Now I can get my fingers in here. Maybe I'll get this cable released without being so violent. So we won't need the rest of the apple in our way. I guess we'll start with what's actually that we know is broke. So these will be our two patients for today. So when I got this, one of the screws was kind of stripped out, so in my hoard, I had one that was a little bigger around than the screw that was in there, and anyway, that seems to work. It's shorter than the original, so I don't think that was the cause of our misery here. At any rate, so I just went ahead and cut this old ribbon cable when I had the problem. I had the chafing, and I didn't want. Sometimes you have to protect yourself from yourself, and so what I had to do was I just had to take that off of it. I had to take it out of the equation and make sure I didn't get lazy or hurried and decide to try it one more time with that old cable on there. So we get these screws out of here. Once that's clear, I guess we can move this all aside. Now, of course, this isn't the package that it arrived in, but this is everything that this company sent me. I got my recap kit from Console 5, and it was pretty cool because they even included an atomic fireball. Like I hadn't had enough fireballs out of this drive already, right? So this kit here is for the Disc 2 axial cap kit. Let's see here. We only got six capacitors in the kit. As far as axial capacitors go, we have 2 on this board. So I guess the other ones, well, I guess there was 3. There was 3 before we customized it. Here's what's left of the one. Can't even get any numbers off it, I don't think. Well, I guess we can. It had 6.3 volts, 470 microfarad. And then this other kit, this would be for the power supply. So we're going to have to get that other board out so we can get that too. So we may as well get all that at once. Let's roll them. As Lady Fractic would say, bottoms up. Let's move this board over here. got our screws. Put that down. We can lift this off. And roll him over. We're on his face, huh? So it looks like we got a couple screws holding this on. So this looks like it's actually soldered to the motor here. So let's see, we got 3 axial capacitors here. And then on this other board we had 3. So a total of 6 caps, looks like. And that's what they sent us. Maybe the hot setup is just to leave all that in place. Take the screws out, lay the board over, do our thing, and just leave it all in place if we can. I'm willing to try that. Get this screw out here. So this fancy machine screws go in this little board here. I think we could probably do it that way. I guess we're going to have to. Here are the 100 resistors I got. A Yanvita brush, huh? And small boards. Let's get that warming up, huh? Flux pin. Solder sucker. Got our solder. Get our sponge up on our rock. There. I got that clipped onto my computer space. Get this new package open, huh? 35 volt, 10 microfarad on this one here. I don't know if they'd all be the same or not. Is 470 microfarad, 10 volts. So the 470 is the one that blew up. So that's going to go on that board there. The 2 large ones go on that board without question. The board is marked positive. Of course, the caps are marked for the negative. So we can work with that. So it's just these 3 right here. And we just kind of go across it. And this one, and this one. Kind of pin on a little flux just to kind of help with conductivity, I guess. Oh yeah, let's get our tip fixed up here. That's pretty nasty. Put a little tin on it. And we'll clean it. And then we'll tin it. We'll repeat this till we get a nice, pretty tip. It's almost where it would be. Yeah, that seems like it's okay. We'll let that warm up again. Cover from the sponge action. Get this thing cocked and ready, huh? Alright. Heat and go out at the same time. That would be awesome. That one's out. 10 microfarad, 35 volt. That one, it's kind of hard to get this here because it's kind of hanging on this wire, so I didn't want to desolder on it. So, clean it up with the old braid. Okay. Looks pretty good. Parts cut out. Alright, so that one there will go on that board with these really big guys. And we'll blame it on the alcohol. Alright, well, good news is we haven't yet broken any wires. Okay, so this is our negative leg. Looking at the arrow. Put that right there. This is how it comes here. What, don't you like your home? Are you too good for your home? Let's try not to spaz out too much. Alright, let's see what we do. Clip us some legs. Not too shabby, considering who did it. Put the old ohm meter on. This should probably not have a bit too. And we can. Yeah, that's what I was concerned about. Alrighty. Let's give this a big scrub down. A little marker marks off, nothing else. Looks pretty to me. Trade it down a little closer, then we snuggle. Diggity. Alrighty. We can set this whole unit aside now. It's got the one resistor. At least we can start there. Looks to me like this one. Yeah, let's see if we can get our broken resistor out of here, Nick. Or first, I guess we've got everything marked. Here to here. And that's all we're going to be doing over here. As I see it, the biggest way we could screw this up is to put the wrong capacitor. So on the 470 is the one that blew up. So which of these is the 470? This is the 470. Let's go ahead and do that first, I guess. Heck with that resistor. Huh? maybe. Alright, well, that's that. I guess we put it together. We've got some cleanup to do. Get all the flux off of it. So, one goes back on, I suppose. If I was that rhythm cable, so I don't know, then if we burn itself up, what would you hold that? Alright, next thing. Wire, using your use for your refill. That would have done it. You take right off file. The new one being as big as the old one. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 capacity. I guess it's all of them. So this is supposed to replace this. A little bit smaller. Sorry, one I just put in. Alright, so the 680 goes right in here. The only reason I know is because I was recording and I was able to relook at the footage where I took it out. And I assumed they were all the same. And that was a bad assumption. So we got 4 1000s and 1 680. And according to the footage here, the 680 came out right here next to these guys. Right here. You just need to remind me not to be so cocky, huh? Maybe I should go next to that. It's there. Alright, Floppy's back together. Yeah, sorry about that last little bit there. This main camera died the night that I recorded it, and so now I'm editing it, and I realize I'm missing some footage, so I'm going to reshoot it. All right, pull the card out of that. So we got our red wire, goes to pin 1. Pin 1 is right here. Okay, we're making sure we've got both rows of pins in and that we have no open spaces on either side. Both of those seem to be the case, and we'll put it on down there. And we will put this back in slot 6. And we have a reconnected floppy disk. So before I get the monitor and all that, we'll just do a quick smoke test, I guess. Okay. Light came on, I heard some clicking. Light stays on. Don't believe that's quite right. Let's put a monitor on there and see what's going on. So the good news is, when we turned on the power the last time, the computer didn't go up in smoke. The floppy disk hasn't gone up in smoke. That's the good news. I don't know if the camera picked it up or not, but it did access the drive. And it spun up and it rattled a little bit. Let's try it again. But it doesn't work, so we have some more digging to do. But we did get it recapped. It doesn't go up in smoke, and it does turn on. How about that? I'm willing to bet that chip that got knocked out of its socket probably be a good place to start. We're going to start replacing other things, but we'll do a little more research. We'll figure it out what we got to do in another video. All right. So let us do this. Let me reconnect the floppy emu, and I'll show you something else. Okay. Power's off. We'll just pull this card out of here. There she goes. Get that loose. That is a snug fit right there. Feed the floppy emu through here. Okay. What are you doing looking over there? Action's over here. Okay, so your red wire's right there. And we'll make sure that goes to pin 1. It's sad that the floppy disk drive died. It really is. But it would downright hurt my feelings if I ruined my floppy emu. So, we will be very, very careful. And let's put this card back in there. There she goes. Then going through this book right here, a touch of AppleSoft Basic. And I wrote a little program. Not that. I'll show it to you. Put this in. Now, what about blink lights? Yeah, that looks like that loaded. Mm-hmm. Okay. And we'll do a Control-C. And text. And new. Yeah, I bet that has everything to do with why it didn't work. All right, let's try that. Hey, there we go. So this is my own spin on a little program that was in the book. And what it does is it randomly decides whether it's going to draw dots or lines. And then it runs a number of lines until it reaches, until it comes up with a number greater than 39 for the random number. Then it starts over again, decides whether it's going to draw dots or lines. Anyway, there it is. So we're unable to fix the floppy disk drive, at least yet, but we did get the power supply recapped, and the computer still works. So I'm going to call that a win. And the floppy disk drive doesn't go up in smoke when you power it up. So, that's a partial win, no matter how you slice it. Hey, y'all. Thanks for watching this episode of Vern's Misadventures. I'd like to invite you to subscribe if you haven't already. Hey, I'll see you in the next one. Y'all take care.